Hello, my friends. This is Dr. Ginny Barrow. I just finished delivering a talk on personal branding for one of my partners. And I want to expand on one of the points that I made during that training that many of us may be dismissing the power and the value of this little tool. And it's something that we can easily tweak and take advantage of to enhance and build a strong personal brand. The training today is about how to leverage social media to build our brand. And I know some of you are already thinking, Ginny, I hate social media. I think it's a waste of time. I don't have time for that. My job is too busy. I have too many responsibilities. And I agree with you. You are busy. You have a very important job. There's only so many hours in the day. Understood. And one of the things I would love to do during this training is to present to you a perspective that perhaps will help you shift out of that mindset and into one that leverages social media so you can build your brand and do it organically in a way that feels authentic to you and that doesn't feel like you're wasting your time. As of 2021, according to the Pew Research Center, 72% of US residents use social media. And we can leverage these social media platforms to showcase our subject matter expertise, to connect with our audiences and people in our field, and to increase our visibility and showcase our personal brand. Our personal brand, as many of you have already heard me say, is what people say about you when you leave the room. This is what I share with my audiences all over the place about what is your personal brand. When you look at it from that place, what people say about you when you leave the room, the impression that you leave when you engage with them, the experience that they have with you online and live creates and builds or destroys your brand. And so how can you authentically leverage social media to showcase your expertise, to contribute to your audience and your network, and not feel like you're wasting your time? Pick one social media outlet. That's my recommendation. For us professionals, I would suggest and recommend you pick LinkedIn. It's a pretty widely used social media platform. I have friends who haven't been on LinkedIn for years or built a LinkedIn profile and haven't touched it in years. So the first thing that I would recommend to you is to grow your LinkedIn profile if you have one, whether it's outdated or recent, and do a little audit on your own profile. Is it up to date? Does it reflect where you are in your career? And if it isn't, that's pretty simple. Go ahead and update it at the most current roles that you've had. Please make sure that, like your resume, that you ensure every bullet under each of the jobs that you've held is a quantifiable so what answer to the role that you are having in that particular job. So in other words, instead of having a laundry list of responsibilities, ensure that every bullet begins with so what? All right, so I manage projects for my company. So what? Because I was able to manage projects for my company, I was able to deliver goals and milestones that either improve customer service, increase our revenues, reduce cost. What is the so what of that particular role, that particular bullet? Start with that and then tell me how. So I could say I delivered operational efficiencies. How? By selecting a CRM system that helped our salespeople track all the activity and follow up with potential clients. That could be the bullet. So follow my drift. Ensure that every bullet on your LinkedIn profile job is a quantifiable, answers the question, so what, right away, and then tell me how. What was the expertise you used, the skill set you used to accomplish that? So that's Number one, do an audit of your LinkedIn profile. See how it looks. Update it if it needs to be updated. So that's one part of it. Of course, there's different aspects and segments within your LinkedIn profile, including your recommendations. I highly recommend that you look at your recommendations, that you reach out to former colleagues or current colleagues, and that you ask them for a recommendation of your character, the work that you did together in your specific field of expertise. And there is a way on LinkedIn where you can send someone a link to give you a recommendation right from the recommendation section. I think it's called request a recommendation. And you can be very directive and say, tell them from what angle you would like for them to give you a recommendation. And maybe even about what position that you had as you engage with the person that you're requesting the recommendation from. So that's another way to build out your LinkedIn profile. That's the first way. The second way that I'm going to give you today in this brief training is about what you post on your LinkedIn. Some people say, Ginny, I don't know what to post. I feel awkward. I don't have a lot of things to talk about necessarily. I have a strong feeling that most likely, if you're listening to this recording, this training, that you are a learner. That means that you're always consuming information in some way, shape, or form. And that also means that you have access to electronic information that you can easily share with your network about the things that interest you. So here's what I mean. If I just read an article about, let's say, cybersecurity, or an article on artificial intelligence, generative AI, whatever the case may be, that you grab the link to that article and you post that link on your newsfeed on LinkedIn and say something about what you read to share your insight with your LinkedIn audience, with your connections. And that will start to show people the topics that you're interested in, which are part of your personal brand. You will be contributing to your network by sharing this resource, and you will begin to feel more comfortable in leveraging your time that you're using to learn simply by sharing what you learn with your audience and becoming a knowledge broker, which is absolutely legitimate. So those are two ways in which you can begin to improve your visibility, enhance your personal brand by having a more attractive and compelling LinkedIn profile, by sharing what you are learning about anyway with your network. And the third thing that I'm going to recommend to you is that you begin to increase your LinkedIn network by being more intentional about building those connections. This is what I mean. You currently work with a lot of people in your circle now at work, and people who were former colleagues. The easiest way to connect is to first go to those people that you know already. So connect with your colleagues at work through LinkedIn. That means that every time somebody accepts your connection request, you now have access to their second level connections and first level connections. Then go to former colleagues and request that they connect with you. Say, Ginny, it's so nice to see you here on LinkedIn. I would love to add you to my professional LinkedIn network. And that's it. You send them a request. I would recommend that you put a little note in your request rather than sending an empty LinkedIn request connection. And it starts to build trust. It starts to build connection with them. It lets them know that you were thoughtful enough to even write them a simple note to say, I would love to connect on my professional network here on LinkedIn. And you will see, you will begin to little by little start building your LinkedIn network. As I mentioned, I have, maybe I didn't mention this, but I have over 25,000 connections on LinkedIn. I don't know everyone. And I do enjoy that once I connect to somebody, I now have access to their network. And whenever I need to look in my network to see if I'm interested in a specific topic and I search and I see that somebody that is connected to one of my connections has insights about that topic, then I send them a 15-minute cyber coffee. A 15-minute cyber coffee message simply means you go to your LinkedIn, you find your connection, you message them once you connect with them, and you say, Ginny, I would love to connect for a 15-minute cyber coffee to get to know you better and to check in to see what you're up to, and I can share what I'm up to. would you be open to a 15-minute cyber coffee? That's 15-minute cyber coffee. And most likely they'll say, sure, 15 minutes, of course I can spare 15 minutes. Doing this intentionally, build your LinkedIn profile, post things that are already interesting to you, ask for recommendations to enhance your LinkedIn profile, ask for people to connect with you by leaving them a simple but nice and graceful note. Is going to enhance your personal brand, increase your visibility, begin to contribute to your network in a very authentic way so that you don't feel that you're wasting your time with all these social media outlets. Let's pick one outlet. Let's go with LinkedIn, do those things that I mentioned, and let me know how it goes. You can always connect with me at callwithginny.com, and you can visit us at executivebound.com/events to see what we're up to. My November training on the Fearless Leadership Masterclass is happening November 15th through the 17th during lunchtime ET. So find out all about it at fearlessleadershipmasterclass.com, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. Live with purpose, live with joy.